Good morning, dear children. Let's start the new lesson. Transport of substances in plants and animals. Transport of substances in plants and animals. Okay. I think you are familiar with the term transportation. Okay. Transportation. Actually, what is transportation? Basically, transportation means movement. Transportation means movement. Okay, you heard about transportation related to vehicles. Okay, that is the movement of vehicles from one place to another. That is actually transportation related to vehicles. And here the transport of substances actually that takes place in plants and animals. Okay, the transport of substances that usually takes place in the case of plants, human beings and also animals. Okay, actually it is by this process the food is actually supplied to the body, and it includes the removal of waste from the body. Okay, actually the process transportation that includes supplies food to the body of plants and animals, and the waste that get discharged from the body or removed from the body. Okay, that is actually the word the transportation meant. Okay, actually the process of transportation includes the supply of food and also the removal of waste. Listen to it. All living organisms are made up of cells. Okay, all living organisms are made up of cells, and some organisms are made up of a single cell. Okay, some organisms are made up of single cell. The examples for organisms that made up of only one cell or a single cell. Amoeba, then paramecium, and then bacteria. Okay, these organisms are made up of with a single cell, and such organisms are called unicellular organisms. Such organisms are called unicellular organisms. Listen to it. Then what are unicellular organisms? The organisms which made up of a single cell. The organisms which made up of a single cell. Such organisms are called unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba, paramecium and then bacteria. Actually, such organisms that do not possess any specified organ to perform various functions. Okay, in living organisms, a lot of functions are happening. Okay, but in the case of unicellular organisms, they do not possess a specified organ for carry out different functions. But when we consider human being, we have different organs to perform various type of functions. Okay, but in the case of unicellular organisms, they do not possess different or specified organs for performing various functions. Okay, and here the intake of food, then water, then oxygen and the removal of waste materials occur through the cell surface. Okay, and in the case of unicellular organisms, the intake of food, then water and then oxygen that takes place through the cell's surface. Listen to it. And here the unicellular organisms that possess a single cell, for example amoeba, bacteria and paramecium, and such organisms that do not possess a specific organs to perform various functions. And here the intake of food, oxygen and water and the removal of waste products that takes place through the cell's surface. Okay, that is about the unicellular organisms. Next, plants and animals are made up of millions of cells. Listen to it. Plants and animals are made up of millions of cells, and such organisms are called multicellular organisms. Such organisms are called multicellular organisms. Then what do you mean the multicellular organisms? The organisms are which made up of with millions of cells or more than one cells. Okay, they are called multicellular organisms, and plants and animals are considered as multicellular organisms. Okay, multicellular organisms means they are made up of more than one type of cells. Isn't it? Okay, and when we consider the multicellular organisms, their life process are actually complex. Okay, when we consider multicellular organisms, their life process are actually complex, and they have a specific organ to perform various function. Okay, they have specific organs to perform a specific functions. Okay, when we consider as God, you know, we have different organs like heart, then lungs, then stomach, also then mouth, then ear, then eye. Different. We have different organs, and these different organs have a specific functions. So our life process is actually very complex. Okay, and to perform various functions, every cell in the plants and animals actually requires useful substances such as water, nutrients, then oxygen and water. Without the nutrients and also without oxygen, the cells in plants and animals cannot function properly. Listen to it. Okay, that is for the functioning of each cell in plants and animals that requires the substances, useful substances such as nutrients, then water and oxygen. Okay, and for that the plants and animals have a transport system. Okay, that is for performing different functions. The cells in the body of plants and animals need nutrients, water and oxygen, and for that they have a transport system. For that they have actually a transport system to carry the useful substances to every cell of the body. Okay, actually transport system is used to carry the useful substances to every cell of the body and removal of wastes from produced by the body. Okay, actually the transport system is used to supply useful substances for the performance of each cell in the body of plants and animals, and it is also used to remove the waste products from the body of plants and animals. Okay, that is the importance of transport system in the case of multicellular organisms. Okay, that is through the process of circulation, the blood that circulate in the body all the time. Okay, that is through the process of circulation, the blood that circulate in the body all the time. Listen it. Then what is circulation actually? The process of pumping of blood. The process of pumping of blood constantly by the heart through the blood vessels to various parts of the body and back to heart. That is called the circulation. Okay, what is circulation? The process of pumping of blood constantly by the heart. The process of pumping of blood constantly by the heart through the blood vessels to various parts of the body and back to heart. That is called circulation. Okay. The next is circulatory system in human. Circulatory system in human. Actually, the circulatory system is the transport system of human body. Circulatory system is the transport system of human body, which consists of network. Okay, which consists of network that supplies food, then water and oxygen and other substances throughout the body. Listen to it. Circulatory system is the transport system of the human body and which consists of network that supplies food, water, then oxygen and other substances throughout the body. Listen to it. And you know the circulatory system that includes blood vessels and heart. Listen to it. Okay, you know about blood. Actually, it is a red colored fluid. You know, blood is actually a red colored fluid that flow in the entire body through blood vessels. Okay, actually, blood is a red colored fluid that flows through our entire body through blood vessels. Listen it, the blood that flows through blood vessels. Actually, the blood that acts as a medium of transportation of essential substances throughout the body. Okay, the blood that acts as a medium for the transportation of essential substances throughout the body. Listen to it. Actually, the blood that is a red colored fluid that flows through our entire body through blood vessels, and it acts as a medium for the transportation of essential substances throughout the body. Okay. Okay, next about the blood vessels. Next about blood vessels. Okay. You know about blood, actually it is a red colored fluid that flows throughout our body. Okay, also it acts as a medium of transportation. Okay, also the blood acts as a medium of transportation. And the second is the blood vessels. Second is the blood vessels. Actually, it is an extensive network that spreads in the entire body. Okay, it actually blood vessels is an extensive network that spreads in the entire body. Okay, actually the blood vessels are tube-like structures through which the blood flows. Okay, the blood vessels are the tube-like structures through which the blood flows. Okay, and these blood vessels that connect heart with the rest of the body. Okay, the blood vessels that connect heart with the rest of the body. Okay, the blood vessels actually that forms an extensive network that spreads in the entire body. Okay, and these are actually the tube-like structures through which the blood flows. Also, the blood vessels that connect heart with the rest of the body. And here the blood vessels are of two types. First is the arteries, and second is the veins. Okay, the blood vessels are of two types, arteries and veins. Okay, that we will see later. Okay, the blood vessels are of two types. First is the arteries and second is the veins. Listen to it. That is about the blood vessels. Next about heart. Next part of circulatory system is actually heart. You know, heart pumps blood nearly 70 times in a minute. Okay. Okay, heart pumps blood nearly 70 times in a minute. Actually, it is an involuntary action. Okay, the pumping of blood by the heart is an involuntary action. I think you already studied about the involuntary action. Actually, the heartbeat that is caused by the alternate contraction and relaxation of heart muscles. Okay, it is caused by the alternate contraction and relaxation of heart muscles. Actually, this can be felt as a pulse. Okay, the contraction and the relaxation of heart muscles, that thing can be felt as a pulse. Okay, actually this can be felt at the wrist, the neck and the ankle, etc. Actually the wrist, that is the convenient place to check the pulse. Okay, the wrist, that is the convenient place to check the pulse. Isn't it? Next about heart rate. Heart rate. Okay, the pulse that count per minute, that is called heart rate. Okay, what is heart rate? The pulse that count per minute. The pulse that count per minute, that is called heart rate. Actually, this heart rate that indicates how fast heart beats in a minute. Okay, heart rate that indicates how fast a heart beats in a minute. That is called what? Heart rate. Okay, what is heart rate? Actually heart rate means the pulse that count per minute. The pulse that count per minute, that is called the heart rate, and this heart rate that indicates how fast heart beats in a minute. Okay. Next about the structure of heart. Actually, heart is the fist-sized muscular organ that supplies constant blood throughout the body. Okay, it's a muscular organ that supplies constant blood throughout the body. Actually, the inner side of heart, that is actually divided into 4 chambers. The heart, the inner side of the heart, that is divided into 4 chambers. Here we have the right atrium and the left atrium. Okay, the upper chambers are right atrium and the left atrium, and the lower chambers are right ventricle and the left ventricle. Okay, right ventricle and the left ventricle. So we have the 4 chambers. The upper chambers are right atrium and the left atrium, and the lower chambers are right ventricle and the left ventricle. And here the right side and left side of the heart, that is separated by a muscular wall, that is called the septum. Okay, actually septum that separates left and right side of the heart. Okay, the right and left side of the heart, that is separated by a muscular wall, that is called the septum. Okay, then what are the 4 chambers in the heart? We have the 2 upper chambers and the 2 lower chambers. What are the 2 upper chambers? This is the right atrium and the left atrium. Then what are the 2 lower chambers? That is the right ventricle and the left ventricle. Okay, then what is septum? Actually, it is a muscular wall that separates the right and left side of the heart. Okay, it is a muscular wall that separates left and right side of the heart. And also we have arteries and veins. Okay, also we have the blood vessels. The blood vessels are actually called arteries and veins. The blood vessels are of 2 types. They are actually arteries and veins. And here the arteries that carries oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. The arteries that carries oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. Actually, the arteries are thick blood vessels. The arteries are thick blood vessels as blood flows very rapidly and with a high pressure. Okay, the arteries are thick blood vessels as blood flows rapidly at very high pressure. Okay, that is about the arteries. The arteries that carries oxygen-rich blood from heart to the rest of the body. And these are made up of thick walls as blood flows with a very rapid and at a very high pressure. Okay, the next about the veins. Actually, that carries carbon dioxide rich blood from all parts of the body back to heart. Okay, the veins that carry carbon dioxide rich blood from the all parts of the body back to heart. And these are actually made up of thin blood vessels. Actually, these are thin blood vessels. And also the veins have valves. The veins have valves that prevent the backward flow of blood. Okay, the veins have valves that actually prevents the backward flow of blood. Okay, and also the blood vessels, the branches of blood vessels are called the capillaries. Okay, the branches of blood vessels are called the capillaries, actually that connect arteries and veins. Okay, the branches of blood vessels are called the capillaries that connect arteries and veins. Okay, and here we have 4 chambers. When we consider a heart, it has 4 chambers. The 2 upper chambers and the 2 lower chambers. The upper chambers are called the right atrium and the left atrium, and the lower chambers are called the right ventricle and the left ventricle. And we have a muscular wall that separates the right and left side of the heart from the left side. That muscular wall is called the septum. Actually, and the blood vessels are of two types, that is arteries and veins. And here the arteries that carries oxygen-rich blood from heart to the entire body. And these are very thick blood vessels as blood flows very rapidly and at a very high pressure. Then the veins that carries carbon dioxide-rich blood from all parts of the body back to heart. And these are thin blood vessels. And also the veins have valves that prevent the backward flow of blood. And also the branches of blood vessels are called actually the capillaries. Then capillaries that connects arteries and veins. The capillaries that connects arteries and veins. Okay, these are the important parts of heart. Okay. Okay, that is about the structure of heart. Still more parts is also there. That thing we will study when we are discussing the working of heart. That time we will discuss more parts of heart. Okay, that is the end of today's class. Thank you, children.